Well, ladies and gentlemen, Holla Black, welcome to the Holla Black podcast. I'm your favorite host and MC, Ronell Blackman, and here we have a desire to build community through conversations, mindset, and results, right? So please share, like, subscribe to this podcast so that you never miss an episode, and please continue to share the content as we encourage you to be brave leaders accountable to communicating knowledge. One episode, one podcast, one conversation at a time. So just like I said, I'm your favorite host and MC, Ronell Blackman, and I truly appreciate this opportunity to discuss in this podcast the topic of the day. The topic of the day is the chosen one. So the chosen one, when I hear the chosen one and when I came up with the title, it came from a memory or a thought, or should I say a publication, right? That put out a conversation about LeBron James. So many of you guys don't know this, but I'm from Akron, Ohio, originally from Akron, Ohio. I now live in Atlanta, Georgia. And growing up, I had a great opportunity to meet and get to know LeBron James. So LeBron James, he, AKA King James, AKA, taking over the reign of the NBA. One of the things that was found, or one of the things that was said about him when he was in high school, was that he was the chosen one, right? They even put it up on Sports Illustrated. He was on the cover while in high school, on the cover of Sports Illustrated magazine, deemed the chosen one. That got me thinking, the chosen one. Wow, like the chosen one? That means, that title brings on so much responsibility, but also it gets me thinking, like, you were the one selected. He was the one selected to take the reign, right? Take over the reign of the NBA to, become the future of the NBA, so to speak, and take it to its next heights, which probably is the reason why they call him King James. That's probably the reason why he got the nickname King James, right? I do remember him playing in a 3-on-3 tournament back home in Akron called King of the Court. But for LeBron, it was more so stepping into his purpose, stepping into what he was created to do. He was chosen to be the one to take over the NBA, to be the next quote unquote logo of the NBA. So today in this podcast, I definitely want to dive in like the chosen one, that idea, the chosen one, the one that's been called, the one that's been selected, the one that was picked to do whatever it was to do. So one of the Bible verses that I discovered while looking up and going through this topic was in Deuteronomy. Hopefully I said that right. Deuteronomy 7:6. And it speaks about the Lord your God has chosen you out of all peoples on the face of the earth to be his people, his treasured possession. The Lord chose you to be his treasured possession. The Lord chose you, nobody else. He chose you to be his treasured possession. So that got me thinking, like, man, if he chose me, what am I to do with the choice that he made, right? Like the who, what, where, why, how, like those type of questions now come into my head, especially when I talk about being a brave leader, accountable to communicating knowledge, right? When I say Holla Black, those are the things that I'm thinking through. Those are the things that I mean, right? And I think about the fact that we all were chosen to add value. You were chosen to add value. We're chosen to add value. I had to say that 3 times because I want to make sure that you guys know that why we're chosen is through a purpose. We're chosen through a purpose. I think about a book back in the day when I was coming up called The Purpose Driven Life. It was like a book and a journal. It was like Oprah's best sellers or whatnot. And everyone was searching for their purpose, right? They were looking for, what is the thing that makes me me, right? What is the thing that I need to do? The purpose that I need to fulfill, right? And purpose comes from leadership. It comes out of necessity. It comes out of change. It comes out of choice, right? There are choices that need to be made in order to step in and fulfill your purpose, right? So why the chosen? The chosen is chosen for a purpose. Number one, right? To get things done, to do the things that you were called to do, picked to do, and selected to do. That's your purpose. So So that's, I would say, the why, right? So when we talk about now the how something is chosen, it's chosen through a lot of growth, a lot of development, a lot of action, a lot of understanding, some knowledge gained, right? Luke 12:48, it says, this is one of my favorite verses, by the way, one of my favorite verses, Luke 12:48. It says, to whom much is given, much will be required. Wow. Wow. Let's think about that for a second. To whom much is given, I got to slow that down. To whom much is given, much is required. Man. So it tells me that I have a lot of responsibility, but it also tells me that not only do I have a lot of responsibility, but I also have been given much. It's already in me. I don't have to create it, right? So all I have to do is take action with the talents that I have, right? With the wealth that I have, with the knowledge that I have, and the time. So let's dive into that. Let's dive into that, right? So to whom much is given, much will be required, right? So let's take that responsibility. Talents. Some of us are talents. Many of us are talents. Some of us are talented in sports. Some of us are talented in arts. Some of us are talented in numbers, right? Math, numbers, whatever, right? Some of us are talented in teaching. Some of us are talented to be on stage with others. That's what I get to professionally do. So that's the only reason why I dropped that one in there. But like, get on stage, get people fired up, get folks excited, but then providing resource, providing understanding, providing that thing that folks need, know, or are geared up to do, right? Those are the talents. Those are the talents that we have. It's already in us. It's already in us. Some of us are provided or given wealth, right? When you get wealth, you should be giving wealth. The more wealth you get, the more wealth you can provide, right? Because you have it. It's interesting when some people think about giving and you only give what you have, right? You can't give anything if you don't have anything. Like, and that open hand concept allows for you to continue to gain, right? Whether it be knowledge, whether it be time, right? You give time, you gain time. Or you should. That should be the focus of anything that you're giving. So when you think about wealth, it's like you've been given this certain amount of financial gain, and now there's a responsibility that comes with it. Sometimes whether we want to or not. Sometimes that responsibility is for the family. Sometimes that responsibility is for, other families, other generations, the businesses, right, that you need to invest in. That's the responsibility that you have with the wealth that's been gained. But then I think about the knowledge, right? To whom much is given, much is required. So keep going back to it. The knowledge of a thing. So the knowledge is like to gain knowledge, to apply knowledge, and to share knowledge. So it allows us to take responsibility for it because that thing that we've gained, now it's important for others to learn, others to benefit, others to grow from, right? All expectations that will benefit others. So all of these things, right? That verse is for the benefit of others because guess what? You benefited from it. Somehow, some way, there was opportunity there that you benefited, whether it was talents, whether it was financial, whether it was knowledge or time, you benefit from it. Like I think about the fact that us going to college or us doing work or picking up a trade or whatever it might be, you're learning how to do something to take it to the next level, right? You're learning how to hone in your talents, hone in your skills, and take it to the next level. So that's the why of the chosen. Or should I say, I'm sorry, that's the how something is chosen, right? But now I want to go into a little bit more personal. Let's dive in a little bit more personal and talk about what's your story. So let's do a quick exercise. I want you to grab a pen and pad. If you're driving, don't grab a pen and pad. Just mentally think about it, right? What is your story? What is your story? Your family situation, your financial situation, growing up, right? So your past, your present, and then your future. What would be your story, right? So let's think about that. But then also, secondly, let's think about how similar is your story to everyone else's. Is it exactly the same? Is it, just a little bit Matter of fact, okay, let's go in percentages. Is it 60% the same as others? Probably. There's some relation there. Is it 70% as others? Yeah, most likely, probably as well. 80%, let's keep going, right? No one has 100% the exact same story as you. Think about that. No one has the exact same story as you. No one's story is 100% your story. You are one of one. You are numero uno. No rivals, especially when it comes to your story. You got your own parents. Nobody has the same. You probably got siblings that have the same parents. That's not the same experience, right? Not the same story. Not the same time period. Hello. Even if you're twins, right? You still, one came out before the other. If you think about that, right? So there's so many differences. One might be taller than another. One might be stronger than another. One might have different things, different talents than the other. Even if you're twins, you still don't have 100% the same story as the other. It's you were chosen. You were chosen, right? So let's think about that. If no one has the same exact story as you, then that means you are exactly who you're supposed to be. If you're different than everyone else, you are exactly who you were supposed to be. You are exactly who you were supposed to be, giving you the comfort in who you are, but then not only that, whose you are, right? That means that you're here on purpose. You're here on purpose, and some people have stepped into their purpose. Other people may not have made all the decisions or taken the opportunities, right, to step into who they were supposed to be, right? Or who they are supposed to be right now, should I say. So it's based off of what was given. If we're just going completely based off of what was given, right? And if I was given these talents, you were given your talents, I'm exactly who I'm supposed to be. And if I take all opportunities, then I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. If I don't take all opportunities, I'm still doing exactly what I'm supposed to be, just not having the level of success that I may want to have. So let's think about that. Let's think about the opportunities that we have and compare them to where we are and what we're doing based off of who we are, right? So you got to think through. The expectation aspect of who you are, right? And, think about what was done before you. Someone did something before you in order for you to get to where you are right here, right now. So it should allow for you to hold yourself accountable to those things, right? Hold yourself accountable to those individuals that were before you, that paved the way, that opened the doors, right? That gives us the opportunity to be not only reflective of our past, but also be appreciative of those that came before us, right? Think about the fact that for us to be chosen, to be created to do what we do, we don't have to create a space because we are the space. We don't have to create the space. We need to refine it. We need to refine who we are daily, right? Every single moment, every single opportunity that we have, we need to become better. Again, right? Going back to the whole phrase that pays, right? Better today than you were yesterday. So thinking through that you don't have to create your lane because you are your lane. Man, I don't know about you, but that takes the pressure. That takes the pressure off of my shoulders. That allows for me to step in, walk in, and do the exact thing that I was called to do, that I was chosen to do, that I was picked to do. You get me? So take the pressure off of yourself for trying to be like someone else, because you are, number one, you are the only you. You are the only one, right? But also think about how you being the only you can provide so much fulfillment, life's fulfillment, self-fulfillment, right? Doing what you were created for provides you that self-fulfillment. Don't get distracted by self-preservation, self-worth. I'm giving all the selves right now. Self-worth, self-preservation, self-desire, selfishness, right? What do I need to do for me? Man, it needs to be more than me, right? More about others than myself. We need to focus more on making decisions that will help us fulfill our purpose in this life. Fulfill. We don't have to create it. We have to fulfill our purpose that's in life. The more trust that others have for you, the better the relationships, the easier it will be to lead others in the right direction. Let me say that again. When you fulfill your purpose, the more trust others will have for you in relationships, in leadership, the more that when you say something, they understand that you're saying it because you're on their side. You're not choosing to, do it to be manipulative. You are fulfilling your purpose and asking them to do the exact same thing. That builds trust. Not only, as I said, in relationships, but also in leadership. You got to make sure that, when we're fulfilling our purpose, we're showing that there's change that needs to happen. I say that because I think about leadership. And when I talk about leadership, I think about the folks that have been leaders before us, that have had to make decisions for change that maybe they didn't want to change. Maybe they didn't want to do. Maybe they didn't want to be the leader. Maybe it was like, man, it would have been a lot easier to sit back in the crowd, sit back in the audience, right? Be amongst the group that went forward. But because they were called, because they were selected, because they were chosen to be that leader, they had to hold themselves accountable. They had to hold themselves accountable to making the decisions that weren't easy, that were quite difficult, right? Making the decisions that made them push the needle for change, made them be bold, made them be accountable. Guess what? They expanded. They grew from that experience, but they were just being who they were chosen to be. When you are a leader, there's a certain responsibility and accountability for all the actions that you take. There's accountability that you have to take for all the actions that you take, but then there's also the responsibility to take action. Because you're leading folks. You have a generation or a team or a group or students or staff, whatever it might be, right behind you that needs to move forward. So I'm so grateful for the opportunity that I was chosen to lead. I was chosen to take action. I was chosen to be accountable for my actions. That keeps me in the straight and narrow. So I have 4 questions for you. I got 4 quick questions for you. These are like my call to action questions. Number 1, are you taking action for where you're supposed to be? That's number 1. Are you taking action for where you are supposed to be? I'm gonna say that one more time. Are you taking action for where you are supposed to be? Number 2, are you acting like who you were chosen to be? That's a big one. A lot of times we think about like, hey, these actions, boom, 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 boom. I'm going to grow and I'm going to get to a certain level. Then I'll start acting like, no. Are you acting right now? Are you acting right now like who you were chosen to be? Number 3, what's holding you back? That's a real self-reflective question right there. What's holding you back? What's holding me back? What are some of the distractions? What are some of the things that limiting beliefs, right? Ooh, nope, not gonna go there. What's holding me back? And then number four, what limiting beliefs have you doubting who you are and who you were created to be? Ooh, I'm giving good homework. I don't even know if you understand what's going on right here. I'm giving some good homework. And ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys are just eating this up. I hope you're having an opportunity, because like a lot of people talk the talk, but they don't really want to walk that walk, right? They talk about, hey, I want more. I want to do more. I want to cause impact. I want to be, that standout individual, but they're not really willing to do the work in order to get there. Why are you not doing the work in order to get there? Why are you not investing in yourself in order to become the successful person that you have written down in your goals every single year? Every year we put down our goals, right? And you're not holding yourself accountable to those goals. You're not. What's stopping you from that? What's distracting you from that? Because in order to get there, you need to believe that you can be there, right? You need to think like that person that's there, but you also need to be doing the things and holding yourself accountable to those, right? It's much easier to not. But guess what? The same time passes. Whether you do the thing or not, the same time passes. So I encourage you guys, I encourage everyone listening to this podcast to do the things that you have been chosen to do. Do the things that you have been called to do. Do the things that you have been placed on this earth to do in order to reach not only self-fulfillment, but the fulfillment of your purpose that benefits others and you benefit as well. Like at the end of the day, that's what we want, right? We want to benefit, but we also want to make sure that we're beneficial to others. Well, if we flip that around and look at being beneficial to others, we will be benefited as well. Once again, to whom much is given, much is required. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this time that was spent on how you can step into your calling and be the chosen one. We have a desire, like I said, to build community and mindset through conversations and results. Please share, like, and subscribe to this podcast and join us weekly as we continue to be brave leaders that are accountable to communicating knowledge to the world, one episode and action at a time. Thanks for joining us. I'm your favorite host and MC, Ronell Blackman. And remember to be better today than you were yesterday. Come on.